The FNRad Snowboard Podcast is presented by Vans. Before I start the show, I'd like to invite you to pause and check out www.e-stonephoto.com. This week's guest has some of his most iconic snowboard photos up for sale, and it's a great way to support a great person. You can also hear E-Stone weekly on the Bombhole Podcast and follow him on his Instagram. His handle is @E_Stone. Season 7 of FNRad is sponsored by Wired Snowboards, the Boardroom Snowboard Shop, Anon Optics, Timebomb Trading, the Canadian distributor of Stance, Dragon, 32, Rumple Blankets, and much, much more, and our friends at Tribute Board Shop in Nelson, BC. Tribute Board Shop is the rider-owned and operated board shop for skate, snow, and style in beautiful downtown Nelson, British Columbia. Tribute was established back in 2003. The name is a tribute to the greatest to ever set foot on a snowboard, Craig Elmer Kelly, whose spirit of spreading the excitement of snowboarding is foundational to the way these guys do their business. So if you need to upgrade your setup or even start from scratch and get out snowboarding for the very first time, visit the dedicated staff at Tribute Board Shop or check them out online at tributeboardshop.ca. Support also comes from Grouse Mountain, New Green Superfood Drink, Volcom Outerwear, Intuition Liners, and of course Mount Seymour, home last weekend to the Bake Salmon 5, the best Vancouver snowboard community event of the season. Extra special thanks to Tony Lefroy, Dave Burney, Nick Haranga, Jeff Keenan, and Mike Rutter, who made this event run so smoothly. Thanks to all the volunteers that came up. Extra special thanks to the racers and everyone who showed up. It snowed the night before a ton, and then the sun came out. The banks were perfect. Mount Seymour was a perfect mountain to have this hosted at. Thanks to everyone who made this such a crazy awesome event. Ethan Stone Fortier is a host of the Bombhole Podcast. Before that, he had a 20-year career shooting photos for Snowboarder Mag as a senior photographer. And before that, he was a pro snowboarder in his own right. And during that time, he was a partner in Tech 9 Bindings and eventually Snowboards and Outerwear. E-Stone is such a fun person to talk about snowboarding with. Please enjoy this conversation with Ethan Stone Fortier.
When I was 18, I moved out to Colorado, and my roommate, who also moved out, someone I went to high school with, this guy J3, back in those days, it was when we were cutting down the noses of boards, big stances, those crazy blunt noses, and we also were taking bindings and cutting the metal bindings down to make them baseless.
Oh, I remember that.
This is actually one of the first ones right here.
Wow, that's clean, dude.
Yeah.
That's production Tech 9?
Yeah, that's first production Tech 9. But what J3 was doing
badass.
Is we would go to Home Depot and just buy metal brackets.
Yeah.
And he was working at Beaver Creek in Colorado at the snowmaking spot, and he had all this access to tools. So there was like a metal bender. So we would like cut diamond plate metal and bend it into a high back, and then make just the bracket so there was nothing in between, and then attach whatever binding straps we could find.
That's amazing. I remember those binding straps because I rode Tech 9 for probably 3 seasons, like with the high back plastic base plate.
Our first plastic binding.
Yeah, the Tech 9 high back was really fucking good. Like
yeah, we had that one super
and
high
tall.
back too.
Yeah, flat and tall.
But so he made these first bindings, and made them for like myself and maybe I think Tarquin Robbins. He made him a pair, which was cool.
Sick.
He was a good homie at the time.
Rad.
And my dad came out to visit us and saw these bindings we were making, and he was like, "I have some friends in New York that could manufacture these, and then we could just buy straps from this company Duratech at the time."
Yeah, they were just
making bindings.
Okay, so that's the connection for Murray, because Murray at the Boardroom up in Vancouver was distributing Duratech.
Ah, okay.
And
that makes sense.
You know who was on Duratech for the longest time was Devin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he didn't want to leave when, I guess eventually bindings got way better, but
yeah,
I remember him being pretty loyal to Duratech.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, they were one of the strong early binding companies.
Yeah, totally.
So we made these first bindings, and we went to a trade show in San Diego without a booth. We just went and were walking around, and we bumped into these. I think maybe because we started getting bindings out to like Tarquin, like I said, and J2, and so maybe they were hearing about it. Does this need to be closer?
Just up a little.
Up a little bit?
Yeah, right
there.
there.
Yeah, it's pretty directional. Oh, is that the echo we had? Sorry about that.
That was it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So we went to this trade show, and I think just because of the riders, there was a little bit of talk about us. We met these distributors from Japan without having a booth, just walking around.
Rad.
And they ended up ordering like a obnoxious amount, actually.
That's
to the
sick.
Point where I think it was like 1,000 pair of bindings. And we were like, oh, we're a company.
Yeah. And they pay up front. That's the best thing about the Japanese guys back then was
they paid up front.
So they basically bankrolled the entire U.S. market.
Got us some money to start. Yeah,
that's sick.
And we were like, oh, wow, okay, so we're a company. And they ended up being our distributors for the whole time, too.
No way.
Which was pretty cool, yeah. Maneuver line.
That's super sick.
Yeah, they ended up we had a great relationship with them. And I think 22 years or something. They're a distributor, 21 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome to form that relationship.
Yeah.
So that's how we basically started it.
Right. I worked at Boardroom okay, so the bindings, I can't remember the very first ones that we got in, but definitely the ones I wrote, I was like, these are, oh yeah, they had a metal high back. They had a metal.
They're all metal.
There was a plastic base plate with a metal heel cup.
Yep.
And then a good high back.
Well, because after probably like 2 seasons, it turned out baseless bindings were a bit of a fad. At first, it was like, oh, they're more like skateboarding. Yeah. But they put us on the map because we were the first company to have them.
Yeah.
But then we quickly realized, all right, we got to actually make a plastic binding.
Yeah. Half and half for a couple of years.
Yeah, we started half and half and then got the money to go all plastic. And
Yeah, I remember actually yesterday talking with Jeremy Jones again. He pushed Burton to go back to the EST, which is essentially a baseless binding.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah.
And he had a lot of pull.
They're still doing it now, man.
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Yeah, he had so much pull that those guys put the Revelation track on.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Right?
That was the Rev track.
Yeah,
huh?
so Rev.
Forget about that.
To Forum. To fucking Burton,
that
was
crazy.
Jeremy Jones the whole way through.
That pushed it through.
How awesome is that?
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
That one guy's...
can get that rolling and it's still just their main technology, yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, I've never tried it, so I don't know if it works or...
I think I did try it. I can't remember. I haven't ridden a Burton board for my own personal board since a Craig Kelly yellow and orange top sheet one.
I'm the same as far as the boards go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their bindings were sick. Yeah. There was a time, like right until you guys started, like why ride any other binding than Burton? You came out with Tech 9 around the time that ride really gave Burton a run for their money. With
it was exactly right around that time.
Yeah, totally.
I think I want to say 94 or something.
Yeah, that's early.
Yeah.
That's super early. Yeah, so by the time I left, Tech 9 had become, you guys were doing boards as well. And Mark Frank Montoya was like... He was your guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Having Marco involved was awesome. We were in Colorado, where it's kind of the epicenter.
Yeah.
As far as American snowboarding.
Yeah.
So that we had to access, not even access, they were just our friends, like the top riders living in Vail and Beaver Creek, and Marco coming from Denver, and like I said, Tarquin and Ali Goulet and J2.
Oh, yeah.
They were just all the homies, so we just kind of guerrilla marketing style just got as many of these riders on the bindings that we could.
Here you go, Jamie Salter, if you ever listen to the show. This is how you build a company, is that you live in proximity to these people that are really influential and that need to innovate the shit, right? Like, so you would get feedback from these epic guys.
You have to immerse yourself right in it. Yeah, we get direct feedback where we're actually snowboarding with them,
Yeah, man.
And just always bettering the product. And
so you personally, during that time, when do you pick up a camera?
I was kind of like a B-level pro snowboarder at the time.
Yeah.
Sponsored. I didn't pick up a camera until I think it was like 99.
Okay.
And Blotto, who's worked at Burton for a while, now he's more freelance.
Burton Love.
Yeah. He was actually, first he was a Tech 9 rider, and then he was the team manager.
Oh, I remember that.
And we bought him a camera. And when he took the job at Burton, he gave me the camera.
Oh, sweet.
So that was my first camera, and that's how I got into photography.
Who were you riding for at the time? What was your B career?
I actually Trent was one of my sponsors.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so I rode for, it was actually Twist.
Yeah.
Or Titan. I rode for Titan.
Titan,
Twist,
which
the offshoot.
The offshoot
from Twist.
Yeah.
And Kevin Zacher, the photographer, was a team manager at Scott, so I had a Scott snowboard sponsor.
Oh wow, those like super side cut ones. Did you try one of those?
I wasn't riding as much side cut. I know that board you're talking about.
Yeah,
though.
I tried that thing. It was pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
it was like
crazy.
Wasn't it crazy that snowboarding influenced skiing, right?
Yeah.
And they did these super parabolic skis.
Yes.
And then parabolic skis influences snowboarding. And they tried, it must have been like a 6-meter side cut or something.
So much.
It was, yeah, I remember trying it and being like.
I have a 10.5 size foot, so you get on something like that, you're like, damn.
Yeah, yeah.
686, too, was a longtime sponsor, which was cool.
Wait, but that's 2 clothing sponsors.
I guess I went from Twist went out of business.
Yeah.
Titan and Twist, and then Blotto, I think, hooked me up with Mike West.
That's really
Got
sick,
on 686,
dude.
yeah.
And so Scott boards, I mean, they were put together really well. I don't know much about. I can't remember much about them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Were they European made?
I don't even remember as well. I have the worst memory.
Awesome.
And I think at that time I was more focused on bindings too.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I wasn't even like, oh, where are you manufacturing your stuff? You know, I didn't get into that until we started making boards at Tech 9.
Right, right. Where were those boards made?
We actually divided it up a little bit. Just my dad had the common sense to if one factory messes up.
Yeah,
which
was happening all the time. Holy shit!
You see that happening. You know, you want. At first, we were in Canada. There was a factory, but then we moved to the Anon factory in Europe.
Yep.
And then also had some boards made in China.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's early for China boards, right?
Yeah.
Like that was pretty early on.
And that way, if something goes wrong, you at least have the other factory delivering and.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one mistake you can put you out of business, really.
Yeah, totally. You really expose yourself. I talk about it quite frequently about how Airwalk was really dominant, like 1990, maybe even earlier, but through like 93, 94, we couldn't keep Airwalk boots in the store and we couldn't order enough.
Yeah.
You know, like if we ordered 1 million, we would sell enough. 1 million. Yeah. And then we were sold out of Airwalk boots sometimes before the snow even was really getting going.
And what happened?
They decided they were going to make Airwalk snowboards, Airwalk bindings, Airwalk outerwear, and they launched it all at SIA, probably, if you look it up, probably like 94 or 95. And their boots that year were too stiff, and they were uncomfortable, actually. Like they started to kind of cut in to your feet. I felt when I tried them on, and then also they were sticking with the linerless thing, and they hadn't really dialed in like a good linered boot. So
and they're spreading themselves thin on all these other products.
Right. So their boards came out. They were like some hybrid foam core with fiberglass stringers.
Foam cores were a problem.
Yeah, yeah. And high-end foam cores were the biggest problem, right? Because when you break a high-end board, and I remember my friend Mark broke like 3 of them. Like, you know, imagine Airwalk going like, well, you're not supposed to ride them like that or whatever. You know? Well, fuck, dude.
I'm going to ride it how I'm going to ride.
Yeah, we're going to ride it how we're going to ride. And so I think just having too many categories, that's my guess. I mean, someone from Airwalk, Lisa Hudson, let's talk about it. Like, what happened there?
Yeah.
Because they were number one with the bullet.
Yeah, they were huge.
Yeah, if you were on, like, way bigger than Burton boots, big time.
They were gigantic.
Everybody was kind of lagging behind.
I almost think when these companies that size get into multiple categories, they jam it down the retailers' throats, and the retailers kind of just be like,
So we were bringing in
all that other stuff. Yeah.
We were bringing in stuff that didn't sell.
Yeah.
And that's the industry is slow that way, right? Because you make your sales. If you're a salesman and you're not really on the ball, you make your booking order. You don't even check if it was delivered, right? Who cares?
Yep.
And you're on the phone with them the next March
for the next one.
Hey, what's the next order? And I think with Airwalk, it was like,
we're not giving you the next order. Yeah, I bet that's what happened.
Yeah, we're probably not even, so we're not carrying any of it. We're not even going to carry the boots anymore. 32 was taking off.
Yeah.
Had the Intuition liner in there. Peter Line had the airbag. Everything was like way more exciting. I don't know what happened to Airwalk that way, but
I think that's what probably happened.
But I think they probably also just went out of business as well. Like, you can't make it. That's why I'm saying with the Tech 9 thing, like, you're really putting yourself out there with the boards.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were getting at. Cause, and it was tough because it also, we had this awesome thing going where we could, like, sponsor anybody because it was just bindings.
Oh, yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of competition with people sponsoring binding guys. So we could have this awesome team. Yeah. We make boards, and all of a sudden it gets a little interesting because, you know, all these guys have big sponsors already. Right. And that made it a little bit harder, but we were able to still maintain a binding team. Didn't Mark Frank have a board with you guys? He eventually had a board with us after Nitro. Yeah. 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 As we ended up getting to the size where we could pay someone like him, and got it. And it worked good. And then we even launched outerwear. You fuckers. Yeah, and I think it take you down? I don't know if that's exactly what took us down, but it was definitely, outerwear's tough, man. It was big, baggy stuff, right? Yeah, and the minimums are insane. The minimums are insane. And the idea of getting the fit right on the first try, and getting the manufacturing, being the new guy trying to get your order delivered on time, like... Yeah. Holy shit! Yeah, you should have called me, man. We had to pay riders head to toe at that point too. Oh fuck! So then all of a sudden we're like their only sponsor. Yeah. But I don't know if that's really what took us down. I mean, I think we were headed in the right direction. Things were going good. I think it was just more the business side. Yeah. We from the beginning we were almost doomed, maybe. Really? Because you know we got to a point where we maybe got too big too fast. Okay. And we didn't have the funding. Yeah, yeah. And then you got to go out because the factories at first were like, "Hey, we'll pay 50% up front." Yeah. And we that was awesome, but then they started to get like, "Now we can't really do this anymore." And so all of a sudden, let's say we do $1 million in sales, we need to get a big chunk of money to produce it. Yeah. And in order to do that, we had to bring in investors. It happens fast too. People don't realize, like, if a board only costs $100, you know, 2,000 boards is $200,000. Yeah, it adds up quick. Yeah, that's like you got to come up with that money, and you don't get to sell those for another 6 months. Yeah. And then being so seasonal. And then 30-day terms, and then people are lagging, and like you don't see your money. And then shops are going to pay Burton before they're going to pay Tech 9. Yeah, man. And then maybe shops aren't even going to pay, and it's a financial nightmare. It is a financial nightmare. That's why having a Japanese order was the godsend for most of these companies, because the distributors would pay up front to finance to make sure that these companies could deliver. Yeah, and Japan was just going off sales-wise. Yeah, and then once they tanked, that was... Yeah, they didn't have their own brands really at the time. Right, right. Yeah, so they're buying huge from America. Japanese retailers would fly to Vancouver, come to the store, take out their credit card, buy boards retail off the wall... Buy like 6 board bags, fill 6 board bags full of like the best boards. Bring it right to Japan. Yeah, I remember like having $10,000 sales, $20,000 sales on a credit card for just like straight boards off the wall. And they would go back and make money. Yeah, because they'd have a shop where they sold them for twice as much or whatever. Japan's crazy. I also did a Japanese cigarette commercial with Jeff Keatley at Whistler, and it was one of the most raddest times I've ever had. That sounds crazy. They paid big money. I made like $2,500 for a week, but they put us up for a week in a Whistler chalet. Oh wow! And they had a masseuse, and and you guys were just smoking tons of cigarettes or what? Neither. I think Keatley smoked. Or you didn't even have to smoke. I didn't smoke at the time. Yeah, but you're in a cigarette ad. Yeah, totally. And in Japan, you can have the smokes in your mouth for the ad. So you can't do that here anymore. You know what's funny? There's a die here, and we remember when dice was people were making dice for snowboarding. Yes. I used to roll a lot of dice. Yeah, man. On team trips. That's where it came from, these team trips. Made a lot of money doing it, actually. I used to be pretty good. I forget what's the game. What's the game again? CeeLo. So how do you play it? You have 3 dice. Yeah. That's why Goon Gear actually made those particular dice. Yeah, they come in threes. It's like street craps basically.
I forget what it is though, but
So
you can tell
you
me
roll
pretty
3
quick.
dice and
Yeah.
4, 5, 6
Yeah.
is like a really good roll. That's a winner. 1, 2, 3 is you're out.
Yeah.
And people put a bunch of money in the pot. You can get trips, which is beats a 4, 5, 6.
Oh, trips even beats a 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, and so people would put tons of money in the pot.
Yeah, it's so fun because it's so simple and so fast. And you just flip your board over. You're sitting there in the snow waiting for the filmers or photographers
And
to get
just
ready.
rolling dice.
And rolling dice. So we were doing that at that Whistler shoot, and one of the ads became that.
Oh, really? They actually put that out in an ad?
It's so funny. They had these ads kind of pre-planned. Like they would show us an existing ad and say, you have to do this. So where is this?
Where can we make this happen?
Where is this? We're like, that's a half pipe shot. Okay, where is the half pipe?
Really? They had no clue.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Wow.
I mean, these are cigarette guys.
Yeah, that's true. They're a
right?
cigarette company.
It was so nuts.
That's cool. They ran an ad of you guys rolling dice.
Yeah, and they ran an ad of me doing just a backside air on a Never Summer. That was huge.
That's so
in
sick.
Japan. So funny, man.
You were huge in Japan for a little bit.
Yeah. Boyer said that. I was big in Japan.
Do we used to roll those dice on? I was for a little while a photographer for Sims, and we went on one of those video premiere tours where you go to like everyday new country.
Yeah.
I want to say we hit like 15 countries
Holy
in
shit.
a very small amount of time, and it was back before the Euro. And it was like Mark Frank and Kurt Westell and Thien, and when they had that sick team.
Yeah.
Every country, the first thing we would do is like change our money for the next type of money.
Yeah.
And everywhere we went, we would just roll dice, and to the point where we weren't even like seeing the countryside or hardly even meeting the people. And I remember at one time we were in Italy and we'd switch money so often we didn't really even know what it was worth.
Yeah.
And we were rolling dice at some shop in Italy, and the kid at the shop was like, "Can I play with you guys?" And we were like, "Oh yeah, jump in." I think it was lira there at the time.
Yeah.
And he looked down. He's like, "Oh, this is more than my father makes in a year," because we had no idea what the currency exchange rate was, and we just kept putting money down and money down and money down. And we got home, and there was like. I think I might have made like 10 grand on that trip playing dice, which was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, like there was the riders. I even won Wastel's boards off them in Japan before a contest and had to sell them back to them. They had to ban actually dice on trips.
Gambling is real, dude.
Serious.
Gambling's real.
People would have to write checks.
Yeah, man.
I think some of the forum days with Travis Wood and those guys, it was even bigger money. Like
That's nuts.
Serious though. Yeah, so I think it got to be a problem.
I think gambling just gets to be a problem, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Like I have my own. I got redirected into Vegas when I was flying into San Diego because I don't know if you've heard, but there's like an atmospheric river over the West Coast, and so what's happened, I think, in the South is that because it's so warm there, it just keeps it as like a mist.
Really?
Oh yeah. When I flew out of there, I was looking back on.
I haven't heard.
There's a cloud over California that is like massive.
And it's just
giant.
a mist.
It's a mist down there, but when it was in Canada, it wiped out like all the rivers of Highway 1, wiped out all the bridges over them. Yeah.
Wow.
Shit's crazy. Like
I
crazy.
had not heard about this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty big thing.
I need
And
to
so they-
put my head up from work and see what's going on these days.
Yeah. So I flew into Vegas and lost $300 American.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's not. Right?
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, it can get bad.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I mean, I think if my wife hears this, she'll be like, "What? You know, $300 is
You
a
probably
lot."
put out too many shows that she can't listen to them all.
Oh no, she never listens.
Yeah.
When she listens, she's just like, I can't. I
I'm bored.
listen to this. Yeah.
Too much snowboard talk.
Yeah, yeah. And also, she doesn't listen because I said this isn't for her. Because you get in those little tiffs as like, well, the reason you don't like it, it's not actually for you. It's not a
there
big
you go.
deal.
Yeah.
Right, but so she throws that back at me sometimes.
Same here. I
thought
know how
it's
that
not
goes.
for me. Oh, honey, she's the best. Do you have a?
Yeah, I have a wife as
You've
well.
got a wife. Do you
Yep.
have kids?
No kids.
Yeah, dogs or something.
I have dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting older now. I don't know. Maybe adopt at some point, but I don't know. My wife's adopted.
Oh, sick. Yeah, my dad's adopted.
Yeah, so we've talked about that, but we'll see how it goes.
I think that's wonderful. I think that's,
Yeah.
like having kids because I'm with my second wife, and she's wanted to have another kid, right? Like, my kids are 18 and 22.
Really?
Yeah, so, like...
Yeah, because you're on your second relationship.
Having a baby, I kind of started pushing back, saying, I don't know, I don't want to be 50 years old, like...
And raising a baby.
Yeah, but I'm there now that I can do it.
Gotta make the wife happy, though.
Yeah, oh my God, yes, you have to make the wife happy. And also, I went into the relationship saying I would do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then just over time, I was like,
I'm
so fucking tired, man. I didn't realize that 48 years old, I'm going to be, is that how old I am? Yeah. I'm going to be like, worn out.
Yeah, right? It hits you quick.
Yeah. I saw it with Jeremy Jones yesterday. Like, him breaking his 2 legs was definitely something super major.
Super major.
Yeah, he's hobbling around still.
Yeah. The
And,
perseverance.
yes.
He's such an incredible person.
Because
imagine if that happened to you or I. I don't think I would have what he has to push how he pushed to get where he is,
Yeah, no, I broke my leg and I fought back against the physical therapy. I was like, I'm hurt.
Yeah, like,
I want to lie down. Like, no, I don't want to walk up and down some stairs right now. Like,
and Jeremy's like doing above and extra to push and push every limit possible.
Yeah, totally.
Now he's out snowboarding and doing tricks and biking, and
that's what's so fun about the podcast is getting to meet so many incredible guys.
Yeah.
And girls. I did not interview enough girls this whole way through. Like, I haven't interviewed one in the last 14 episodes.
Really?
It's just, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do not have a bias anymore. I did at one point, as I was telling you, and then Jess Camira basically
knocked it out of you.
Yeah, she could have physically kicked me in the head. Like, she was so mad. Yeah, I said to Jess Camira in her home that all women's footage was beef footage.
Woo.
What a fucking moron.
Especially to Jess.
Like, I guess I was just
I'm surprised you didn't get kicked out of the house.
Yeah. I mean, it was close.
Do you follow her Instagram?
Yeah.
Keeps me going. Those memes she posts.
The best.
The best.
Yeah. I can't talk too good about Jess just because my wife's a tiny bit jealous.
Oh.
Yeah, because I do gush about how awesome Jess is.
She's awesome.
Mostly because she woke me up.
Yeah.
Which that's really important.
What you're saying, which is really, really cool.
It's really nice. It's just a really nice thing.
Yeah, to see that perspective that, like you were saying, that the woman's photo in the magazine was for her and
yes,
not for you. And
it's really important. Yeah. And not for any guy. It's like you want to see yourself represented, right?
Yeah, and that's so rad.
And we, personally, I can't speak for you, but as a white guy, I'm represented everywhere.
Yes.
Like, every commercial's got me in it. Everything that's made and marketed to anyone has me, a version of me that I identify with. It wasn't until I was down here that I saw how crazy it actually is. We did our COVID test in Burlington.
Oh, really?
And it said right on the COVID test, like, I don't want to exaggerate it. It just was like, are you white? That was like the first question.
Really?
Yeah, and then the next one was, well, are you black? And then, are you Hispanic? And then it's like, what are you?
Yeah.
Like, the fourth question was literally like that rude. Of
Really?
like, well, then what the fuck are you, you weirdo? Like, we all know what white is, and there's black, and then there's, like, it was like this weird thing that I was like, can they even ask that? Do COVID tests not work on other skin colors?
Right?
Like, what the fuck does that have to do with a COVID test?
They're probably just trying to collect data on if it affects races different, which is crazy.
Yeah, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
fucked up.
Yeah.
I felt fucked up about it. But yeah, that all goes back to Jess. And her sitting in this, was it in this room or was it in the garage? I think it was the garage.
She was in the garage.
Yeah. It was like, holy fuck, she brought it.
Yes.
She brought it.
Powerful. And her movie. Woo.
Her movie's insane.
Insane.
I saw it and I just wept.
Yeah.
There's that point where I could cry right now thinking about it.
Yeah, thinking about it.
When
it's
she's
crazy.
crashing on that wall plant, like on that, and you're like, ooh, oh no. Like, it's almost not worth it.
You want to cry too, but then at the end, you're ready to run through a wall.
That's it.
Just hyped.
Yeah, exactly. At the end, you want to run through a wall.
And that's a movie like
Absolutely.
you can sit down with your wife and she can enjoy too.
Yes.
Like, you don't need to be a snowboarder. It just transcends everything, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a gift. She's like a giver, right?
You know what Blue said in our interview here? He said Jess doesn't just push women's sales; she pushes capita sales.
Dope.
And she might be one of the few pros to actually do that.
Right.
For a brand. And
yes.
That's amazing. You know,
it's integrity.
Yeah, she's an incredible human. And that's what cool about our jobs, I guess. We get to sit with these amazing people.
Yeah.
And hopefully learn from them, I guess. Hopefully it rubs off a little bit.
Yeah.
This amazingness that we get to sit down with these people that have just done such cool things and just pushed so hard to get where they are, and they've gone through so much. And I always kind of have a moment when we're recording a podcast where I'm just like, damn, this is sick.
Yeah.
This person is so dope.
Articulate.
Yeah.
Inspiring. Yeah. Authentic.
And maybe not articulate, too, because, we've had Lucas Magoon. And,
yeah.
And he talked for 4 hours, and maybe 2 of it was understandable. You know what I mean? We had to edit it down. But once again, he's also an amazing person in his own way, and it's just so cool.
Yeah, man.
Raddest part about podcasting, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking a bunch this last week about how podcasting, we're still in the infant stages of it. Like, there's going to be podcatchers that curate, like, you could literally type in golf, snowboard, retired pro, and then you'd get, like, Bert Lamar,
someone's gonna
Devin
pop
Walsh, Nick Parada, and you're going to have, like, you could have any interest you want, and there'll be a podcast that speaks to you. Yeah.
And what's crazy, I didn't even, it wasn't even on my radar until we sat down and did the bomb hole, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I got introduced to podcasting through being a mailman.
Oh, really?
Well, because... like, the first year I was there, I was like, I'm not going to be one of those assholes that wears the headphones. I'm just not. It's too much, right? Like, you're at work, bro. Like, be a professional. And then I went to music. I got like a little. The very first music player I played was like a Sony, and I think it had a 32 megabyte card in it.
Wow.
So 15 songs that are completely ruined to me forever now.
because you had to listen to them so much.
Like, in one 8-hour shift, you heard them like 80 times. You're like ready to kill yourself. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
So then I got a bigger, it was a Sony player that probably 1.2 gigabytes or something.
Oh, damn.
So like 1,500 songs.
Yeah, that's holding a lot of music.
I think, no, it wasn't until I got an iPod that I had 1,500 songs. But at that point...
I was going to say probably an iPod.
Yeah, at that point, when you run out of music at 1,500 songs, like when you're like, this is fucking crazy.
I've heard everything.
I've heard everything like a million times. I can't believe this. Right at that moment, I got introduced to This American Life.
I actually have heard that back in the day.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was just like...
and that was amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. I would listen to it back to back. I'd listen to the story once, and then I'd listen to it again because it was
such
so
a good job. Yeah.
Interesting. And then Radiolab came out, and it was the same thing. I was spouting off, like, oh my God, did you know that rabies isn't fatal if you, put the person into a coma
stuff.
or whatever? Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then the first couple of snowboard podcasts came out.
What was the first snowboard podcast?
The very first one I listened to at any length was the Not Snowboarding podcast. Okay. And those guys were awesome. And I just was wondering, like, why they weren't getting better guests. I mean, they had Terrier, they had Todd Richards.
Yeah.
And they were good. Like, I really did like the Not Snowboarding podcast. There was like a Boot Pack podcast. I only listened to the first few episodes, and I was like, this isn't for me.
Bob Plum and Griffin.
Yeah. It just wasn't for me. It's probably gotten better. I think they still do it.
I don't know if they're still doing it. I don't think they are.
I just don't want to talk shit on anybody.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, like, I've listened to 10,000 hours of podcasts. I know that we could do a better guest list.
Yeah.
That was the main thing.
And can more consistently keep them.
Well, that was the other thing, was that these guys would sometimes put them out like 3 times a year or like 2 a month. Or, yeah.
And don't people ask you too, like, don't you worry you're going to run out of guests?
I haven't had that.
I have a lot of people ask that, and it's like, dude, there's just endless people with rad stories.
Not only endless people, you could have Jess back on already. You could have her 4 episodes later, and people would still love what she has to say.
Yeah, she would still. How many seasons are you on?
7.
See, that's crazy.
This is
That's
the
so
7th
rad.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, 162 episodes. I just saw that this morning.
That's awesome.
But like you guys caught up. Oh, thank you very much. You guys caught up real quick. That was the thing. Congratulations on going over a year without missing a week.
We did miss 1 week.
Not in that year though. It was after 52.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
All right. Yeah, because we missed 1 week only.
What was going on with that week? You guys just needed a break, or you didn't have the episode?
It was the huge event with Black Lives Matter. Everything happened on a day we would release an episode.
Okay.
And we were just like, we're not going to.
Good for you guys.
Yeah.
That's really smart and really thoughtful. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And it was rad, sitting down with Selema. Really cool.
Yeah.
Opening. Like you said, we're white guys.
Yeah.
We need to be told.
Kind of the same as the women thing.
Yeah.
It was very much the same thing with Russell.
Like, let's sit down and tell us what's up, Like, I want to hear life from your perspective. And it's so cool to do that.
And listen. Fuck, I'm so bad at listening. That's the thing.
Yeah, we need to listen.
Yeah. The nice thing about the Plug podcast was that my only involvement in it was to listen, was to make sure that the audio was being recorded. So technically that one was a tough one because it was a 3-way phone call. And I'd have...
Oh, you were there listening.
Yeah, so I'd have Selema going in one input and Russell going in the other. And the way that my recorder works, like cell phone like waves interrupt the sound.
Oh.
So I'd be constantly fiddling with the fucking thing to like just... Like
make sure that it sound good.
I'd be hearing gold. These guys would be having like real conversations. And every once in a while... catching themselves going like, we're not talking about Erik, because they were talking like real two guys from a background that's not white.
Yeah.
Talking about what it's like to be not white. There's a lot of making white guys comfortable in our culture. Mm-hmm. Right. And so like I don't want to say the gloves are off, but when you're allowing yourself to just speak like there's no white people there, it's a fucking fully different tone.
It's really cool that you were able to get Russell going.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, at first he said no because, and this is important for people to hear. Like, if you have a black friend, that doesn't mean that they're a black activist, okay? So that you bringing your dumb white questions to these people is fucking rude. It's one of the experiences that we don't have, right?
Yeah.
Nobody comes up to us and goes, "Hey, what's it like to be white?" Imagine how like stupid that question is. First of all, second of all, if you don't want to talk about it, now you're putting more load on this person. You're giving them one more thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, so your fucking people oppressed us forever, and now it's my job to explain to you that. Like right here, right now, again, second time this season, if you want to know how to be cool to your friends of another ethnicity, fucking Google it. Google it.
And learn.
Just learn it on your own because that's where you're supposed to learn it. Otherwise, if you've ever gone up to someone and asked them about it,
you're putting them on the spot, huh?
You're putting them on the spot.
Yeah.
You're putting them on the spot, unless they're an activist.
Yeah,
now,
because some people are private people that want to.
Yeah, if you're an activist, sure. That's where you go with the activist person. And there's lots of activists on Google.
And they're going to sit and talk with you all day.
They've already written it down, dude.
Yeah,
it's not even that hard. Just go read the things that these people have already written. Don't put it on your friend who's already had a whole life of having to deal with this shit. Find out what they had to deal with, and then come to the table with some patience, some understanding, and just like that's what the whole Black Lives Matter thing is, right? Now, the listeners out there that think it's a conspiracy that's built to divide us, it wasn't at first. It's 8 years old. It didn't happen like 8 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been going for a really long time.
It's been going for a long, long time.
It's been going for a really long time, and it's because our institutions are racist, at least in Canada. I can't really speak for the States, but I could guess.
It seems like Canada's mellower than the States to me, but I don't know. Haven't lived up there.
You know what? There's a heritage of misinformation.
I mean, it's crazy. You sit in school and they teach you what they're going to teach you, and while you're learning it, you just think, oh, that's how it went. And then all of a sudden one day you're like, whoa, man, most of what I was told is bullshit.
Yeah, totally.
Like, well, what the heck?
Yeah, what the hell?
It's such a crazy thing.
And does school suck? Ask your kids, what's school like? Oh, it's terrible.
That's so true.
It
yeah.
sucks.
I mean, dude, I hated school. I just could not wait to get out of school. Like every day I was in there was miserable.
And then you're a little younger than I am, but you had after school and before school probably too, right? You go, you play baseball, you fuck around, and after school, like freedom. You're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I was free till the lights came on. Street lights, you got to be home for dinner.
Be home.
Yeah.
I grew up in Vermont, and luckily I was able to snowboard. And my high school was small, actually. We didn't even have a lot of sports. There was no football.
Wow.
I don't think there was baseball. There was hockey. But yeah, school just sucked.
Yeah.
The sooner I could get out of there, the better.
Yeah. When did you first get into snowboarding? How young were you?
I actually got into snowboarding pretty early. I want to say 85.
No way.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I started skiing when I was like 2.
Okay.
And it's funny when I think of my childhood, the fondest memories I have are like a ski resort, and even just the whole process, the lodge, the gondolas, the big, huge moguls at Killington, just like all of it. Even being cold, just all of it. I just have these memories, fondest memories of being taken to the mountain. And I'm thankful that I was able to have that. And so I started skiing at 2, but the first time I saw snowboarding, I don't know where I was or why or what happened, but I saw it, and I started throwing my ski poles off the lift all the time because I asked my dad to get a snowboard, and I think they said no because skis were so expensive, but I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then finally, I think for one Christmas, I got a Burton Elite 150 or something.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
In 85.
I want to say I'm really bad with numbers.
Yeah. How old were you at that point? Oh, I'm outing you.
I don't even know how old I was. I was young.
Yeah.
I know I didn't live in Vermont yet. I lived in Connecticut. I want to say I was probably in like 5th grade or something.
Yeah. It's like 11. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that adds up.
Yeah. He's doing math.
Yeah, I was born in 75. I'll out myself.
Yeah. I'm 73.
So it's about right. About adds up.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's wicked early.
Yeah. It was pretty rad. And I remember you had to like get certified.
Yep.
Because you're of age, you know how that was.
Yep.
You had to go to the mountain before you could even be allowed to get up there. You had to pass the certification test.
I forgot they'd sometimes only certify you for certain chairs even.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It could be a chair. In every resort, you had to do it again.
Yeah.
Pay that extra money to get. You had to go up with a snowboarder that deemed you worthy to ride the mountain.
I only did that really honestly once, but I didn't start until 88.
Okay. Yeah.
And I brought a card that I had made myself.
Oh, nice.
That I laminated with layers of tape.
You bootlegged your own certification.
Yeah.
That's
totally.
smart.
But yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah,
They're like, that one doesn't work here.
Yeah, because every spot.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know if it was a money thing or was it really a safety thing. I don't know.
It was a safety thing.
Yeah,
I think
they just weren't. They were like, "What is this sport?"
Yeah,
you better know what you're doing.
We could barely do anything.
Yeah, true.
Really,
we could barely, and
equipment
wasn't as good.
Yeah,
as
how do you tell if the equipment is even worthy?
Yeah.
Right? I remember being at a resort. It's called Adnac Ski Hill in Sudbury. A resort. It's 60 vertical meters.
Oh damn.
Yeah, man. But my dad showed up and he'd found some skis at a garage sale and the boots, and he was getting on the lift. He bought a lift ticket and everything. And I remember my friends going like, "Isn't that your dad?" And he was like, the lifty was going, "Dude, you can't come on here with those. Those are like leather straps. There's no bindings. Those boots are like, you're going to break yourself on that shit. There's no edges on those wood skis." Like, it was going to do that.
But he was ready to do this.
Yeah, so that was like, at the time, you could have a Woody with fins still on it, right?
Yeah.
And a couple of kick-in straps. Like, that's not going to actually work here.
Yeah, it's not going to work on a real resort, the fin.
No,
that would be crazy.
I've heard that over and over again, like people struggling with the fin and then some nice person coming over. And it's always, like And that was, Bob Klein. Comes
someone
over.
nice popped off the fin for
Yeah,
him?
yeah, that was Mike Rankwit, and he came and he had a little screwdriver, and he pulled the fins off the side of the
That's
board,
so sick.
and then I started fishtailing down
Yeah,
everywhere.
then I could actually slide around.
Yeah, exactly. I was Black Snow age.
Really?
Like that was really available.
It was the price. The
$79
price was attainable, yeah.
Canadian, which is probably about $50 US.
Yeah, at your local store.
It's called Canadian Tire.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
funny,
I was gonna
dude.
actually guess it was Canadian Tire.
Yeah, I don't know your stores here. So
we had like Caldors before Kmart, but it was that type of store.
That's rad. Yeah, I went.
Or Sears.
Oh, Sears Sears had them. I remember going into Sears and grabbing a screwdriver and then taking a few broken parts,
Swiping them out.
and swapping them out on the stuff at Sears.
Yeah, because the Black Snows weren't made that
No,
tight.
banned for life, dude.
At
I was
least
banned for life. From
Burton
Sears
was
for
actually a pretty big step up from that.
Oh yeah, that's huge to
Being
start.
from the East Coast, for me, they called it Burton boarding, I think, when I started,
Yeah, and remember there was songs in the videos.
Yeah, Burton Boy song. That, I believe, was one of my first snowboard videos.
I don't even know what snowboard video that's from. Chill?
It might have been Chill.
Smooth Groove? Smooth Groove, maybe.
Yeah, it could be Smooth Groove. That was like the Craig Kelly movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
it might have been Brushy had the one in Chill, the rap song.
That's right. I think
was
it's Chill.
dope. Yeah.
It's Chill.
I think it's Chill.
Yeah.
And they had that crazy carve segment with Peter Bauer and Gene Nerva. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but
that's right.
That movie
Jean
was
or Jean.
insane,
Yep.
actually.
I think there was a 720 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, flailing around.
Did Brushy's part in that? I mean, they had me right there. I was just like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that team, those guys together, like I would reverse engineer that in my mind forever. Like I when I went and talked with Jacoby, I'm like, in Chill when you guys are. He's
Jacoby.
like, dude, as if I remember that.
Yeah,
man.
he doesn't remember
Yeah,
it.
same with Keith Wallace, because Keith Wallace was a big part of that.
He was in Chill, Keith Duckboy Wallace.
Yeah, man, and talking
Dude,
about those
I remember
guys.
they came through. I lived in Burlington.
Oh, of course they came.
And they came through for a trampoline demo. And Jacoby, dude, was killing it. He had this sleeper move where he'd like pretend he was sleeping on his nose, grab his nose, pull it up. Full trampoline demo. And I was just so hyped. And they had all the freshest Burton gear. And
oh, wow.
all those guys, there's like Duck Boy, Craig Kelly, and Brushy. And
So you were a Burton boy right
Jacoby.
through that time too, right? We're both.
Yes, I was.
Here we are, Burton.
I was
love.
from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I think I got to high school, and I think those Nitro boards and Sims boards.
The Nitro Pyro.
Yeah, the Pyro.
That did it
I got
for me
one of
too.
those. Also an Avalanche Kick.
I had a Kick.
I started exploring the other brands.
Yeah.
You remember Andy Coughlin?
Of course.
Yeah, he had a shop, the Boarding House.
It was the Boarding House.
Yeah.
I was asking whether it was B-side or Boarding House.
And that's the thing. So his shop was like, he rode for Burton, so there was a lot of Burton stuff, but it needed to be different than the Burton store.
Yeah.
But then the B-side opened, and they had no Burton.
Yeah.
And
I went to the B-side.
Yeah.
We drove down from Canada, stopped at the B-side the first year they had LibTech boards in.
Yep.
And they were like so sick. I remember seeing that first M Appeal and being like,
Yep.
oh my God, goodbye Burton.
That's the first year I went to summer camp at Hood. And
What year would that be? 91?
Yeah, 91.
Yeah, I went 90. So we were driving down to meet someone I met at summer camp.
Wow.
In 1990.
That's so
And
sick.
we brought our boards, even it was summer, and there was still snow at Killington. We hiked up to this little patch, and we're idiots, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
man.
I went out to camp and saw that board, that LibTech board. I think I bought one off of Matt Cummings at like a pro sale.
Oh, sick.
Came home and just,
fuck, and broke it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But just that's when you're exploring all these other rad companies that were popping up.
Those boards were so sick. They're
that
worth
graphic.
so much now.
I bet, dude.
Yeah.
How much do you think they're worth?
Well, which one was it?
It was like that first skeleton.
Skeletons are pretty pricey. At $1,200 US bucks
Nice.
probably for a non-broken skeleton.
Man, you should have stopped by Dead Lungs while you're in town. He has a pretty sweet board
Yeah, I'd
collection.
like to. Yeah. Hey, I need his number.
I got it. I got it. He's a bit. He doesn't open his doors. He's kind of like. I don't want to say he's not a hermit by any means, but he just like picks and chooses who his company is going to be and who's coming to his zone.
Yeah, that's why Roach wanted them on the D-Day.
D-Day, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
love
rad,
Damon.
and he has a sick board collection. He doesn't have any of those Libtex, but he has a lot of really cool stuff.
I think I'm going to stop by Salty Peaks.
Dude, that's a board collection right there.
Yeah, see Dennis.
I mean, it should be open, right?
I don't know about it. What is the deal?
I mean,
it's still a viable running shop with just all those winter sticks and everything.
I mean, he has the sickest board collection out of anybody, maybe.
Probably in the world.
Yeah, in the world.
Yeah.
Well, it's all up in the roof of the shop when you go inside.
Yeah.
And then he has some on loan that are up at Brighton as well.
Those I've seen the Brighton ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent took me to the Overstock for the Vale Museum.
Oh, sick.
So
is that down in?
Yeah, I handled. Actually, I'm gonna bleep that out.
Well.
Yeah, it is at an undisclosed location. But because the shit that's in there is priceless.
I bet.
I held Craig Kelly's black top, black base Mystery Air.
Really?
In my hands.
Wow.
Yeah, like his actual board.
His actual board.
Yeah, his brothers lent it to the museum. I held supposedly
Dude, Trent has some stuff in his hands.
Tom Sims' high school board from 1965.
Wow.
I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, this doesn't look like it's been ridden by somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe that people would say it was something and send it for the museum and maybe not really ridden.
I think what happened, honestly, this is where I landed. I think that Tom Sims snowboarded in the 60s. I don't think he kept the boards. I think he remade them in the 80s.
That makes sense.
To make a claim that he was before Jake. Because that mattered to him a lot. But I don't think that it matters.
I don't think
it doesn't matter when he started.
I've actually changed my mind on this because of a clip of Tom in a teaser for the Pure Juice Sims documentary. Actually, when I went to grab the audio clip, I saw there's a picture of a very young Tom with what looks like the board I held in my hands. That, partnered with the fact that Tom says, I built my first board in 63. It didn't work very well, explains the weird lack of wear and tear on the board. I thought he would have ridden it until it was worn out, but obviously he just made another better prototype.
Trent's got prototypes in there of Sims boards with his writing on them. And
that's so cool.
You could see how he created the geometry. Definitely was on some psychedelic of some sort, probably weed.
I believe
there's all these angles and shit. You're just looking at it going, this shit is awesome, man.
I mean, it's pretty cool what those guys did, and
much
respect.
So many people, so many different places. So you've got a big contingency in Utah, tons of people all the way through.
Yeah.
You've got people in Colorado, you got people in California, and you got people in the East and people in Canada.
Yeah.
You've got so many different groups that are just kind of co-inventing this thing that it makes me wonder if it was just like inevitable.
True, huh?
Like if culture fell away and we came back, would we invent
Would it happen again?
Football again? I don't think we'd do football the way football is. Too convoluted.
True.
Too weird. Like all the weird things. It is kind of weird, yeah. Right? But I think we definitely have surfing. We definitely have snowboarding.
Yeah, they make a lot of sense.
I think you're going to make a ski. Mad Shoes skis when I worked for K2, like they're like established in, like 500 or something.
Really? I mean, it makes sense. If there's a hill with snow on it, you're going to figure out how to slide down it.
Yeah, exactly. And moving. You got to move around. You got to go to town to get your supplies. You need to be on skis.
Well, and just like a skateboard, too, if wheels are invented, you're going to be pushing around, right?
Yeah,
Why not make a mini version?
Yeah. And snowboarding, that's the same thing. I mean, you've got a sled on the wall with bindings on it that Mike LeBlanc made fucking... He did real shit on that.
Yeah, he did real shit. He jumped cornices, he hit handrails, and I mean, it goes to show in the powder you can basically ride anything.
Yeah. I think that's that, man.
I think a good snowboarder that's skilled, like a pro snowboarder, can in the powder just ride anything and make it work. A surfboard, whatever, down the powder.
A water ski.
Yeah. They're good and they're talented and they can make it happen.
Yeah, totally.
And I guess LeBlanc kind of proved that.
His episode of the bomb hole was when I went, all right.
Nice.
I'm going to have to accept that they're once in a while going to have a guest that is like my kind of guest.
and they're gonna knock it out.
Mikey's just an amazing human, right? Like you could just sit.
He's beyond.
We could have another episode with him, and I'm sure it would be just as fascinating.
Instantly. It was so engaging.
Yeah,
it's
because of him, right? He's an engaging human.
I'm gonna say that's my favorite snowboarding podcast episode of all time.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank
100%.
you.
Yeah, and you guys did a great job.
And it's him. He's just Mikey, you know.
He brought it.
Yeah,
he brought it. But
he's a smart guy.
There was a good back and forth going. One of my favorite moments for you was Red Gerard.
Oh.
And just the way you opened it up, like there's something about you joining his family.
Or something. Seeing if they'd adopt me. I still stand by that, Red and family. I would love to join the family. They look like they live good.
I was howling, dude. That was so rad. Just like off the top, off the dome, you know, like it really made me laugh in a way that I hadn't laughed at a snowboard podcast in a long time.
That's awesome.
ever.
Yeah.
So, and that kid, holy shit.
Yeah, he's such a rad dude.
We've got some really good ones in the industry right now, huh?
Really good kids. I think the future's in good hands.
Yeah, I've always felt that since starting. Like, I mean, eventually, I think my plan in the beginning was to hand the show off to you guys, essentially, to somebody who has the knowledge to interview the people that are current. But like by building from the history, it was really a move that was strategic. I'm like, hey, these guys will talk. I can just look up Sherman Poppins' number in the phone book.
Yeah.
He's not a celebrity guy.
Yeah, right?
Right. And when I called him, he was like ready to rap.
He was excited,
you know?
huh?
Yeah. He's like, yes, I did invent that in 1969. And he had his story dialed, and he talked about going to get an industry award at a Transworld Award, and the guys mobbed him, and they were like, you can't be skiing, man. You invented snowboarding. Like, get on a board. And then ever since, he was ripping, you know.
That is true. He needs to be on a board.
Yeah, of course.
If he was the inventor.
Yeah, exactly. But that was probably the very first kind of look back, you know, possibly one of the first, you know, honoring where it came from.
And people need to hear that, right? And now it's recorded and it's there forever. Kids aren't going to know, right?
Then I started realizing I don't know anything about the history. It's funny that I went all the way back because I didn't know anything about what's going on now. But as soon as I got there, I'm like, I don't know anything about this either. Like, I don't really know much about snowboarding other than it's the most fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've got some practical knowledge for how to get places and how to enjoy snowboarding for sure. And I also have some, you know, tricks with the old cell phone to make it look like it's better than it is.
Yeah, right.
Which I'm noticing now with this, like, super dry year, the snowboard posts are still pretty epic. And then you go, oh, that was last year. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering, too. You'll see something and be like, oh, damn.
You're like, I left. As soon as I leave Colorado, there's like, you know, Chad at the top of some super, that's not him. Yeah. That's not this year.
Maybe that's last year.
Okay.
Isn't Canada getting some snow?
We got a ton. Then we got a bunch of rain.
Okay.
Where I live anyway.
What about Calgary? Aren't they getting some snow?
They got tons, and then they got rain. And then, the intern Josh, who works for the show, he went to Banff for early season. And then he called me. I got to say this on mic. He called me, and he said, we got to talk. And so I gave intern Josh the responsibility of the Instagram stuff because that was what was wearing me thin.
That's a lot of work.
It was wearing me thin.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because I couldn't get on there without getting down some rabbit hole or whatever.
Facts.
Shit, dude. It sucked for me.
You need to have someone that's going to do it, and it's something that they're focused on.
And so I was starting to take him for granted. I was starting to be like, you know, fuck, this kid's like kind of annoying sometimes or whatever. And then he said, can we talk? And in that moment, I realized, I don't want to go back to having to do the fucking Instagram thing.
Hell no.
Oh, no, he's leaving the show. Like, I need him. Like, it was an instant remorse.
Yes.
And then he's like, I'm stuck in Calgary.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
like, so you've got internet access, though, still? You're good. You can still post on the fucking...
As long as you can post, fine.
Yeah, we're good. He's like, yeah, but I don't... Like, all the bridges I can't drive back. And I was like, yeah, so you're good to do this Wednesday's episode, right? Like, just so we're clear. So I got to get that guy hooked up. I promised him I'd hook him up with some stuff, and I don't know that I've followed through on that. I did take him to
What,
Burton.
get him some gear and stuff?
Yeah, man.
Oh, you flew him out to Vermont?
I flew him to Vermont with me,
That's
and then
sick.
while we were in Vermont, the Jamie Salter thing came through, and I'm like, we're going to fucking New York City, man.
Ah, okay. Yeah, he's in New York. Huh?
Yeah, like Manhattan.
So that's a pretty cool trip. You
Corner
brought him.
office. Yeah, it was
Yeah, I was
really
gonna
fun.
say he must have a sick office.
By the end of the trip, I felt like Josh and I were not really on the same vibe.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, you're going to be late for the flight. That's cool. I'm not. See you, you know. And I was like, that's fine.
Yeah,
man.
that's cool. Do your thing.
That's fine. I don't want to hear about your kid lamenting. When I move out of my parents' house, you know, this is going to be so cool.
Oh, he's still living with his parents?
Yeah,
That's
he's
sick.
young. He's 19. He's,
Oh, dope.
He's a good kid, and he's really learning fast, and mostly he does what I say. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Without any questions. That's really a rare quality in a millennial.
Yeah.
Like,
it's actually a really rare
Hey,
quality.
move that logo from there to there, and then he just does it.
Yeah.
you know?
That's actually very rare.
It's dope. He's good.
You
Intern
need to have
Josh.
someone doing that, though. That's
Yeah, if you want to,
draining.
if you're one of the listeners out there and you got cool shit to send to intern Josh, yeah, reach out, DM, and we'll get some stuff to him for doing all the social shit.
Yeah.
Because that's the shitty part of the job.
And it's a lot of work.
And it's not a job for me. It's a job for you guys. You guys are here 40 hours a week, like
Yeah, for
Monday
sure.
to Friday?
Yeah. We work normal business hours.
I love that.
Which is so different for Chris and I, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's like you guys created adult jobs.
Yeah, Chris is always joking that we're like playing business.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Just like throwing papers around and working 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly. Who's been your favorite guest so far?
Dude, it's crazy to even think about that because there's just different people, different reasons why I like them, you know?
Yeah.
Like Lizard King was just crazy, and listen to his stories. I could just listen to him banter all day, you know?
Yeah.
And then Ellis, just his story.
That energy that Ellis
yeah,
brought
he
here.
just brings that energy. And he just walks in with it and sits down just full professional, you know?
He was inspiring. That
Yeah.
was an inspiring one.
He's so, and it's just crazy how he can turn it on just like that and
Yeah.
bring it.
Yep.
And then Salema, you know, I could listen to him talk all day.
Yeah.
But yeah, just all of them for different reasons, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's politically pretty safe.
Bozong dropped today. That's a great one, too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I reached out to him, I think. He said cool.
He can be hard to, you just got to track him down at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, getting the guests has become easier. And that was the strategy I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking with Keith Wallace, he was the very first person that was like, oh, you've had some pretty cool people on
Yeah.
here. I'd like to add my name to that list.
Yeah,
you know what I
true,
mean?
right?
I'm
Once
like,
you get some cool
dope.
people.
Yeah, and like I reach out to him. He's working at where he's working, and I call him at work, and he's talking about now he telemark skis, but then he also starts to open up a bit about like, well, it's pretty hard to go to a resort nowadays and pay the full price because I refuse to go in and say, hey, do you know who I think I used to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it really opened my eyes to how our legends are out there. Some of them are really struggling, bro. Like
True.
some are.
Yeah, and that sucks.
And they shouldn't be.
I agree with that.
They shouldn't be. There should
But
be.
what do you do?
I don't know.
Because it's like
It's late. It's
late.
It's
Yeah,
late.
they didn't make the money they should have.
Right.
And how do you make good on that?
Well, also you call Jamie Salter and
like
you say,
that
"Hey,
idea.
asshole,
You've made some money here."
Some of that billions of dollars you have was made because you stomped on someone like George Pappas.
People got stomped
You
on
hurt
along
you
the way.
hurt that dude.
Yeah.
Like you physically and emotionally and financially, crippled a
And
guy.
it can be hard to recover from
Yeah.
because it's like very crippling when that shit happens.
But then while we're saying this,
You know what helps though is us
Yeah.
telling the story.
Yeah, tell the story. Get the story
The
out
people
there.
for the future
Yeah.
will hopefully not have that happen,
Yeah.
and the future legends will be set.
Yeah, we're in a different time for sure now. It's going to be hard to be a legend. Like a little kid that's just born right now that's going to be a snowboard legend.
The next legend.
Right. It's their life is not going to be drinking beers with a bunch of buddies
Oh, that's true.
in Boulder.
Yeah.
Right? Like
That's very true.
But as I was saying that, I'm thinking, do we want snowboarding to be a monoculture of people that made it, that make good business decisions, that No, man. Our legends do actually run the gamut. You know, when I went and interviewed Trent, he's in a very different financial position than Quinn. And that's kind of nice that we've got people from all ends of the...
Trent has somehow just always known how to command a great salary.
Yeah. You know what? That is actually a thing. That's a thing. Some
really
people
is.
won't... I remember a guy telling me when I worked at the Boardroom, he's like, quit, buy a truck. I don't get out of bed for less than $20 an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you do that? He's like, because people need shit moved, and I charge $20 an hour. I'm like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I would do $5 an hour.
Yeah,
Because I'd be like,
too.
I'm not as good as these guys yet. Fucking 5 is good. Give me 20 and I'll work for 4 hours and I'll really work for 6.
Yeah.
And
other people just command it and it works.
Some people can command it. I really want to teach that to my kids.
Yeah.
But then again, getting back into the quagmire of all this fucking whiteness talk and all that. Whiteness is that. That's all it is. It's not our skin color. There's no white cultural center. It's a fucking economic system that's taught from, England to America to Canada, France, these places where it's like, you can make money. You can't. You can make money.
Selema said
You
interesting
can't.
stuff about how a lot of it, even with the snowboard industry, was like by design. That certain people don't have access.
Yeah.
It was basically planned.
Yeah, but then the whole thing is you have no culpability because as Nitro, you're not actively trying to keep people off chairlifts.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking that you're in an elitist sport, right? Like
Yeah.
at Tech9, you guys aren't like, hey, we're trying to make this white thing. Nobody there is thinking that at all. There's no part of it that's that. That's what whiteness is. It's buried in there that structurally there's another class of people that is not going to get to go do winter sports.
Yeah, and that sucks.
And it's normal. It's normal for us to think, well, of course they don't do it. Of course. I don't even notice when I'm at a ski resort what the demographic is.
Yeah, we don't even think about it.
Right, because there's othering our whole lives where they're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they're playing basketball.
Yeah, and it's now I
Which
guess
is racist. That's
Yeah.
I just said a racist thing.
Yeah.
That's like that's how I was brought up. Was they're enjoying their lives, doing their stuff.
We don't even think about it.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
They're rapping and playing basketball. That's fucking serious racist shit. And they're not here snowboarding because they don't want to be. Because they wouldn't want to do this. They've had the same options I've had. And I chose to do this.
Yeah, and that's not how it worked.
Zero how it worked.
Yeah.
Zero how it
And
worked.
now I guess we can wake up to that and
We're starting to. I think that's inspiring. Talking about it,
Yeah.
listening about it.
that's the big thing, I guess, listening. And,
It's hard for me. I talk like crazy.
I mean, you got a podcast, right?
Yeah,
It's your
yeah,
job
yeah.
to talk.
yeah. It's so much fun. That's the thing. Like when you're saying you guys are here, like playing business.
Yeah.
This is a fun thing to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
Time goes by fast.
Yeah.
You get to meet interesting people.
Yeah, that's the coolest part.
Oh my God.
I like how you said when you asked me who the favorite podcast was that had a political answer. Is that what you said?
Something like
you
that.
know what's funny is I sit down, I almost black out.
Yep.
And you asked me what my favorite one is. We put out X amount. I have no fucking clue. I just know I've had a lot of enjoyable conversations with a lot of people.
Now that's an authentic answer.
And I can tell you the younger people, they haven't lived enough. They haven't
Yeah.
been kicked in the nuts enough
Yeah.
to have as good of a one
Yep.
as Jeremy Jones, let's
Sure,
say.
sure,
Whose
sure.
Life has
yeah.
happened, you know?
Yeah. I'll give you that 100%. That's a really nice
So
answer.
there's the answer for you.
Yeah. That's sick. And that's the goal of the show really is to get that authenticity from these people that are so
Yeah.
inspiring, right? Like, and you're one of them. That's the thing for me. When you guys came out, I was like, I get how this show is going to go. Like it just makes sense. These guys have put it together properly.
And what's funny is we didn't put it together properly, We just sat down and Chris is like, all right, let's be idiots when we have to be idiots. And
Yep. Yeah.
And then, if you can hit with your listeners, if you can hit an emotion,
Yeah.
that's you've done a great thing. Like you said, when you laughed, and a real laugh, like,
yes,
that makes people happy,
absolutely.
Or if you can have a listener identify with someone's hardship and let them realize, oh, damn, Torstein has the same problems I have. Like, he's not this amazing dude on a pedestal that's better than me.
Right.
And I don't uplifts people,
Yeah, I don't think any of the guests ever really feel like they're better than anyone else.
They never.
I haven't really. That's a thing that comes from below, right?
Yeah.
Like that imposter syndrome. Like I had that. Do I still have it? I'm thinking in real time.
You still got it?
Do I still have it? I feel like it's kind of melting away a little bit.
Yeah, just because you're getting used to conversations
and also because I have a purpose, which is to get an authentic conversation from people. That's it. Like, the more authentic it is, the more I think if I was a listener, I would be like, hey, maybe I don't identify with this guy, but he's being real.
Yeah.
He's not fucking around.
We always point to this quote right here. I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody.
Oh, yeah,
and
there you go.
We read that, have the guests read that before every episode.
Oh, that's really smart.
Just so it's like, just you got to be yourself, and people are going to latch on to that. And
Steve LaRosier, he does the Stoke.org thing. And,
it's sick.
And
Stoke.org
they're so good.
dope.
Yeah, you guys raised some funds for them like in the last few weeks, too, even. They're so good.
I don't remember which guest had us do that, but
that's dope.
Yeah.
Because Steve said, like, before a big talk or whatever, any public sort of thing, it's proper to feel like an imposter syndrome kind of thing.
Yeah.
But authenticity trumps it every time.
That's the truth.
You just come in and you be yourself. And then there's nothing that
That's all you got to do, right?
Yeah, you're there for that reason. Like, they invited you because you're the person they want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Just be yourself, and you're doing it right.
100%. I'm a little bit dyslexic, which makes delivering the mail insane, dude. Insane. Having people running out, Erik, we got the wrong mail
This is
again.
the wrong one.
Like, they know me personally. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is it the 2171?
My bad.
Yeah, you're 2117. Sorry, guys.
Dyslexic mailman. Huh?
Yeah, so then I'm reading your quote, and the first thing I read was, I know the key to success. So I'm like, well,
that's weird.
You do you? What is it?
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's super rad that you guys have that. You learn these things along the way, right?
Yeah.
That's what you learn. That's
exactly. When we started, we didn't know anything. About anything.
Who was your first guest?
It was actually Nils Minnick, but we put out Justin Benny first, which was our second guest.
Yeah.
Just because Benny got deep on the talk of his struggles.
Yep.
As a pro and just life and drugs, and got really real with us. Not that Nils wasn't as exciting, but we just wanted to drop
I got you.
that Benny one first, and then we put Nils out second.
Yeah. And they were both really good.
And our quality was pretty shitty, though. We had like some borrowed cameras and...
Oh, see, I didn't notice that. I'm listening for the audio. I was like, yep, the audio is right.
Yeah, you probably didn't even watch ours.
I didn't watch
listen
it.
to them.
I've never watched a podcast.
What's interesting is the way the numbers with podcasts versus YouTube work. Like, day one, like we dropped Bozong today. I haven't checked the numbers, but I know that the audio is probably thousands more than the YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
Like on day one, right in the morning, there's certain people that just way to work.
Yeah.
They're listening to it, or whatever they're doing, they're listening to it.
Yeah.
And it's usually maybe people our age and younger, but
those
not
are my
super
guys.
young. Yeah.
Those are my guys.
I think that's the podcast market, let's say.
Yeah.
And then the YouTube market, Friday hits, and then the weekend hits, and the numbers jump.
Oh, I see.
And then towards the end of the week, they're almost neck and neck, which is crazy.
Yeah. They catch up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then what's cool, too, is there's that first week, which is dope, but then they just keep collecting and collecting and collecting, which I'm sure you see, too.
That's the thing I see.
Yeah.
I haven't paid much attention to the numbers I don't know what they mean. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
And I just told you at the beginning of this that I fucking
like YouTube is
Googled.
Transparent about what the numbers mean and what.
Oh, do they?
Means.
They give you some metrics and stuff.
They give you everything, and it's like
yeah.
But with podcasting, like you said,
I was like,
listen to the whole thing? Are they listening to 10 minutes?
I can't remember if I do remember that when the Sean Kearns episode came out, it was the first one to do 1,000 downloads in a day. And I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
Like that's really good, I think. But then I didn't really watch the numbers, so I don't know if my numbers have gone down since you guys started.
I'm sure they haven't. They've probably gone.
I think there was a dip, maybe. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
But why would someone just listen to ours and not another one?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
right,
doesn't make
right.
sense.
I don't know, man.
If you have a show you like or a guest you want to watch, you're going to watch it.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And actually, when I have guests on that are podcast listeners, they'll often be like, did I hear that on your show or did I hear it on...
Yeah, because they watch them all. They consume it because they love snowboarding or they want to hear 100%. The guest.
Yeah, and there's other ones out there. Airtime, like Jody's is really good.
Jody's is awesome.
I love Jody. He's been on my show a couple times.
He does a good job with social media too.
He's really
pumping
good with
it out.
Social media, yeah.
I don't know if he does that himself. Probably
He does. And when I was talking to him about the intern, he's like, I need to get one of those.
I need to get one of those.
Josh, tell your friends, man. Yeah, and then there's the Powell movement. Mm-hmm. And then also, one of the ones I like to mention is We Look Sideways. I love those guys.
I haven't heard that yet.
You know what? They're from England. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and they're...
I'm going to check that out.
They're really, really good. So there's a lot of choices out there, like you said.
Obviously, Mark Sullivan's as well.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Of course. And Chad and Bjorn are doing stuff with Mark.
Which is rad that, Mark got them involved.
Yeah, Mark, he's probably into season 5 or 6 now, too.
And he pumps out a lot of episodes,
He pumps out a lot of episodes.
Multi a week.
And he's a different guy. A lot of people I talk to love his a lot.
Yeah, he's got a total different structure and different approach. And
Yeah, they were doing Adless. They did Adless and then Patreon, right? I think that was their model at first. And now they've gone to ads.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
I found ads to just be, like, more legitimate. You know what I mean? Like, it just legitimized my thing. Like, there's people paying for... First couple of years, I was paying to put it out.
Yeah, of course, right?
And then I did a fundraiser at the end of each year for myself.
That's rad.
I'm like, I got to buy new mics. And
you need equipment.
And I raised enough money to get new equipment. And then once Steve L was on, I was like, I should raise money for... Like, because I pledged in my own life, like, if I make $60,000 a year as a mailman, I want to make $6,000 a year that I give to charity, right? Like 10%.
Really, that's dope.
Right, but it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
$6,000 is like, but then
that's the same as the Mormon tithing here in Utah.
yeah, that's where it came from. It's like kind of this old tithing deal, right? My parents tithed to the United Church when I was a kid, and I didn't really get it. But it never bummed me out that I couldn't get a bike because they gave money to the church. I kind of understood it, but I didn't understand it internally until Steve mentioned, like, dude, you raised $4,000 for Stoke last year. Count that as the money.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, okay. I can do that. He's like, yeah, fuck, you can do that. And then on top of it, that really sparked underneath me. So he took away the imposter syndrome, and then also it sparked me to be like, I could raise more money for the show and take a little bit more and give
and still give
more.
Yeah.
Like the more I make, the more I'm giving.
The more you're giving.
Now I'm like, thinking, holy shit, like let's get some kids out on skateboards, snowboards, surfboards. The Indigenous Life Sports Academy is amazing. Spencer O'Brien was talking about there's like some getting Indigenous women outdoors. I want to support that stuff
awesome.
too. Like, that's how we change it. That's how we change our culture.
Yeah.
That's how we bring more people into the fold, is making it available, because now it's become, people hiking at 7 a.m. and tracking out the resort before the fucking lift spin,
is so
man.
sick.
So let's take our kids and people out and do that. Sure, why not?
That's really cool.
Yeah. It really is the shortcut to happiness, is to give away stuff, not to get stuff.
Unconditional giving, man, is just you come to learn that.
Yeah.
And you really got to just give and not look back, right? And
there was a podcast I heard about. They were saying give till it hurts, and I was like, wow, it barely ever. Like, I don't even think $6,000 would hurt. You know what I mean?
You know what I like is like when you're at a 7-Eleven or somewhere.
Yeah.
you forgot your wallet.
Yeah.
And you got like $30 worth of stuff on the counter, and the dude behind you buys it.
How nuts is that?
Yeah, that's just like,
yeah.
Damn. And then you're like, all right, I got to do that.
I got to do that.
Next time somebody in front of me has that, and I'm going to do that.
Pay it forward. That's what it is.
And
Pay it forward.
That's the coolest thing.
I did that one time in Mexico. Just it wasn't even much. Like they were like, shit, didn't get the smokes. It was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh man, didn't get the smokes. And then the
Throw
guy's
the
like,
guy
why
a pack
not?
of smokes?
And yeah, no, I'm short 50 cents or whatever. And I just like I gave them 20 pesos. It's nothing.
Yeah.
And they saw me the next night with my son at the bar. Or, we weren't at the bar, at the restaurant, and they bought us dessert. They were like, that's that guy.
That's the guy.
That's the dude, man.
It means so much
Thanks,
to people.
buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a kid? Fuck yeah. Keep going. Yeah, it means so much.
It's so cool.
I'm staying at an Airbnb right beside the ballpark. So I don't know if you're going to go like, ooh, that's kind of a gnarly spot. But there's a lot of people lurking.
There's some gnarly spots in Salt Lake.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of, and maybe it's not the gnarliest, but there's a lot of people there right now.
Yeah.
That are camping out and lurking.
Oh, you're like right where everyone's camping and stuff.
7-Eleven's right there.
Okay, because they recently, the city like moved everybody.
Okay, yeah, so there's some lingerers for sure. But I noticed at the Airbnb that there's a barbecue, and I was like, I'm going to fucking roast up some hot dogs for these dudes. Because... oh, man, being next to a fucking ballpark all the time, being those guys eating those fucking hot dogs. And what's a pack of hot dogs and buns?
Dogs just like all the time in the summer. Just like,
a pack of hot dogs and buns. I could make 12 hot dogs in
and these guys are going to be stoked.
I hope so. I mean, every once in a while, I'm not even going to say that. Yeah, they'll be stoked because it's authentic. I'm not trying to get something from them.
Yeah, that's
it's like
exactly
anybody want a hot dog? Here you go.
Yeah,
There's like fucking 12 hot dogs here.
You have no agenda.
I'll sit and eat them with you if you're worried that I fucking poisoned the hot dogs or something. No, man.
And I'm sure they're going to be stoked.
Yeah. I thought about doing it yesterday because I kind of had a day to myself after I had Jeremy Jensen on the show, actually.
Awesome.
Which, interesting character, like... And very humble about what he's done in snow surfing. I think he's single-handedly brought attention to snow surfing with his talent. Like he's fucking good.
Yeah,
dude.
He's insane.
He's good, and you wouldn't even know that he was snow surfing if he didn't once in a while fall off.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It looks like binding stuff. And he says he's holding mega footage.
Oh, really?
He's
going to come out with something
He's like,
sick.
that's some C footage shit. Nobody's even seen the A footage yet, right? Yeah. And so that was the first night I landed, and then yesterday was Jeremy Jones, and then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hustle.
Yeah.
I've collected.
Chill.
You're
Am I the last one?
No, you're interview 13.
Oh,
so
damn.
You're the lucky one.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like,
Hey, you mind if I take a quick bathroom break?
Ah, fuck, of course, man.
Yeah, I gotta go. Chris opened my eyes to that because with Instagram, he was like, "You got 19,000 followers or something," and I was like, "That's not that many," because I look at him.
Yeah,
he's got a lot. I look at these other people. He got a lot. And he's like, "Dude, that's a stadium."
It's a stadium.
It's a stadium.
You've got a stadium of eyes on your shit.
Which, when you think about it that way, you're just like, "Whoa, damn, dude, that's crazy." I mean, and that's just the today's life. It's you can have that reach. I mean,
didn't we
it's crazy.
Start out kind of talking about that? About just like 50% of podcasts in the world have less than 100 downloads a week.
Which is crazy to me. When I saw that, I was like, whoa, we're doing better than our first episode.
yeah, exactly.
Just because we all have this built-in, even just enough friends, I guess, in the snowboard world, right?
Yeah, but when you think about what those podcasts are, it's some kid, it's people just like putting their life out there on a podcast, just like an Instagram page, or an Instagram handle, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the financials, and I don't know, man. You guys like to do that. Let's talk about that, like the cheddar biscuits.
Cheddar biscuits.
Now you got somebody here asking you about the cheddar bisque. It's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Well, one rule about cheddar biscuits that we follow is you can't talk current bisque.
Oh, that's really good.
Because
that's smart.
If you're a pro snowboarder, that's like your active contract. Like,
yeah. Now you're putting it out there.
Yeah, and you can't.
And people can know. Yeah.
Let's say there's other people in the team.
Yeah.
You know. Like,
yeah.
You can't have them knowing.
That's big time.
Your current bisque.
Yeah.
So that's really the only rule is like older bisque. Like
old bisque, right?
It can't be current just because that's supposed to be private.
I've asked a couple of people whether they're comfortable with it, and they weren't enough that I was like, I don't really fucking care that much. But people from your guys' show have reached out to mine and been like, ask about the bisque, for Christ's sakes. That's what we want to know. Like, what was Devin making? But
yeah, see, and why not? Why can't Devin talk about what he was making, you know?
You know what? I think he just,
And maybe, some people aren't comfortable. Yeah, some people are very private.
Yeah.
And that's them, too, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
When we ask it, we put them on the spot, and we don't let them dodge it.
Which is good, man.
Yeah,
that's
and we
fine,
try
too.
to get it out of them. Really rich people,
yeah,
they don't tell you what they're making.
really rich.
Yeah.
Jamie Salter, though, he did. He's like,
I guess really,
billion a year.
really
15
rich
billion.
people brag, I guess, right?
He wants you to know, right? He wants you to know.
And that's all, I guess, his personality, right?
Yeah. It's crazy to think that I was sitting in an office with somebody
Someone
who's
worth that
pulling
much money.
that much cash. But it's also crazy to think that I, would be drawn into that gravity circle of like giving him a pass because he's rich. It's like, dude, no, he doesn't get a pass. He made a lot of money, fucking people over.
Yeah.
Straight up.
On
like
other
to their
people's
face.
dreams.
You're going to hear that in the season finale of this show.
I can't wait.
What happened with George Pappas is
I've never heard the story. I'm very interested.
That's so much fun. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like what you were talking about. Why you made your first episode
Yeah.
the first episode is that there's some stuff in there that is engaging. Super
and
engaging.
And hearing it, gets you going. Just like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, and get you on
That's
the
a story. I mean, that's
Yeah.
journalism.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that was I probably shouldn't throw him under the bus, but our friend at Union, Johan, came up to me at the LBS and was like, if you say one more fucking thing about Jason Brown owning Capita, I'll beat the shit out of you. Like he just was like, dude, I love the show, but shut the fuck up about Jason Brown. Because that year, you get into pockets. What happens is you get into pockets. So TJ Snyder, Tyler Lepore.
They're Capita guys.
Yeah. They're all Capita guys.
You're hearing the angles of the story.
Yeah. Andrew Burns was talking about the Jason Brown days at Capita. And I lived there. Capita was started in Surrey, BC. I lived there. I saw what was going on. And I went to that first trade show, and I saw how much input Jason Brown had into it, And he was a quirky, weird artist guy. I liked the guy. But Johan was like, dude, seriously, Capita's been going for so fucking long.
And he was only part of this.
He was there for the first few minutes.
Yeah,
you know
first
what I
few
mean?
minutes.
He was there for the first few minutes. We're years into this shit. You know what I mean?
Which is true, I guess, Capita for Johan to say that.
Yeah, we'll give Johan a total, he was right in the right.
Johan tells it how it is.
He tells it how it is, and he didn't
East
say,
Coast.
he probably didn't threaten me physically.
He might have, but in a jokingly way.
Yeah. He was definitely, like, I was in the hot seat there for
He's
a second.
like, enough's enough.
Enough's enough of this Jason Brown talk. Come on, man. And so that probably,
When people are a founder of a brand, though, it's a delicate scenario.
Right, but is he? I mean, I've heard his story. I've heard what he's going to put out there, and
basically, if he was only there for the first minute. Like you're saying, he did not build this 20-year brand like
he didn't.
that crew did.
But some of the shit that he did was groundbreaking. He had a Transworld ad. This is a teaser for the Jason Brown episode. He had a Transworld ad, a Transworld
you've already done the
interview.
episode.
We've talked about it.
Okay.
We just have to record it. It's laid out.
It's laid out.
It's meticulously laid out.
Really?
Yeah.
It's going down.
It's happening. Yeah. I love the guy. I found out so much about him through this story, and it was a big part of going to Burton as well and talking with JG. And, yeah, it was a super interesting dude with a really cool story. But he got Transworld wanted to interview him. And he said, I'll only do the interview if you leave a page blank for people to draw their own art on. I want to invite, I'm such an artist, I want to invite people to draw their own art. Then they'll keep that Transworld magazine because it'll make it more valuable to them because they've got a personal piece of art in there. And Transworld was like, no.
Nah.
And then he said, well, then I'm not doing the fucking,
Damn.
I'm not doing it. And like, you know, I'm pretty sure that was like Blue and those guys were like going, dude, do the fucking thing.
Do
Like
the interview.
we need the interview. Like this our brand depends on it. And he's like, have faith, assholes. Like they're gonna come back. They'll come. I'm Jason Brown.
Yeah.
Man. They're gonna want me. And they did. They printed an empty page.
Oh wow.
And then he went around to everywhere that sold the magazines when his issue was out, and he did Jason Brown art in all those things. So many people got these rad Jason Brown original art pieces in these magazines without even knowing what the fuck it was.
That's pretty cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's some fucking personality.
That's
right
some
there.
personality. He lived here in Salt Lake for a while.
He sure did. Yeah,
I got
yeah.
to know him a bit and
Yeah.
haven't seen him in years. So.
Quirky dude, really cool, an ideas-minded guy. He actually pitched me on the idea of like FNRad radio, and I'm
Really?
gonna try and have my buddy, he's the Nitro rep, Steve Hare up in Canada, host a show that's half an hour and just features music from videos and from artists who are snowboarders.
Sick.
So how cool will that be?
There's a lot of musicians in the
So
snowboard
many.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and
a lot of talent.
I reached out to a bunch of people like Russell and he put me on
Russell and Mikey.
Mike
are
Rav.
sick. Yeah, Rav.
Yeah,
There's
like,
so much.
There's just so
Kokar.
many. Yeah. And so like when you also add into it the videos, then you basically have a library that's huge, right?
Yeah,
and,
huge library.
And Steve has the personality for it. He's a bit of a DJ and like he's definitely a music nerd.
That's sick.
And he loves punk rock. So he
and
might
a half-hour show is easily digestible, right?
Right.
that's
And you're on your way up to the mountain and you're listening to
there you
videos,
go.
like a mix of videos and maybe some interviews eventually. Like it's a great idea and I'm excited to do it. It's just I got to get Steve going on it.
A lot of kids love to listen to video songs too, and
man.
whether they admit it or not, they'll
I
listen to
still
them in
do.
their car.
Yeah, I still do. When a video song comes on, I'm like,
You're stoked.
Yeah. But I'm not that video guy like Jody Wozniak. That guy knows.
Chris is the same way. Yeah.
Well, you guys do a feature
name
in your
that video part.
name that video part, and
I
people
lose every
go
one of them.
nuts.
Yeah, people will have the answer submitted like the second our thing's posted. They go right to it, and
Yeah. Is
they
there
win.
prizes? There's some,
you get like a sticker pack.
which is
which is cool.
It's not nothing.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
Yeah, and you get to be the guy that won.
The guy that won
Is
it.
there a guy who wins every time? Is there like?
No, that's mixed up.
That's rad.
Yeah, because it's not that easy, you know.
No, God,
There's a
no.
lot of movies out there.
I rarely get. I never get the name that video part, but I usually get the guest one. If it's someone I'm listening to, then it's an era.
Yeah.
That I know that.
Yeah, true.
And like that's what's cool about those songs is that it brings images into your mind of that part.
Which is pretty rad.
It's so sick, dude.
Yeah, I think that's a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
But guys like Chris and Scotty Stevens is like this. They just know every video.
Every single one.
Yeah. And they're just students of the game, as Chris says. You know, they've been studying it forever and they know everyone. And
Dude, that's so sick.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
So let's get back to your thing. I know you don't have unlimited time here,
Yes.
but this is an interesting, fun conversation. And your career it's just photos? For whatever reason, I thought that you filmed a little bit, too.
Nope, never filmed. I started shooting. Like I said, Blotto handed me that camera in about 99.
Yep.
And soon after, I got hooked up with Snowboarder Mag, which was pretty cool. Bridges gave me a chance.
Dope.
Because he's from Vermont. I'm from Vermont. I don't know if there's anything to
Sure,
it. Who knows?
sure.
But I lived here in Utah. I had access to the riders, you know, and through Tech 9 as well. And then I became a senior photographer for Snowboarder.
Wow.
And I think I was one of those for like 20 years or something.
So then you worked through those Sullivan years.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I started as a senior.
Yeah.
I guess I got a chance before Pat got involved. So he wasn't the one who gave me the chance. It must have been Sullivan.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'd worked for them for like 20 years. And over that time, it was just awesome. I got to travel to amazing places. It's sick. Try to go somewhere international every year, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And you're still doing that.
Well, Snowboarder Mag is gone.
Yeah, but I just mean like you're still
shooting photos. Yeah.
Yeah, because
we're
companies
gonna do a bomb hole trip actually this year,
dude, that's
like
perfect.
an alumni trip.
Yeah, that'll
like
be
Jeremy
fun.
Jones is coming.
Dope.
Camara says she's gonna come.
Dope.
LeBlanc.
Amazing.
And I think we have one more slot. And I'll shoot photos.
Oh my God,
we're
that'll
gonna
be so
bring
fun.
video. Chris obviously is coming.
Yeah.
And we'll just do people who have been on the show. And,
That's smart to do.
yeah, it's gonna be
That's
fun.
smart to do.
Probably go to Minnesota, just see where the snow drops, and then hopefully get it out in one of the magazines too as a story, which will be rad.
Yeah, that's super sick.
Yeah.
That's
this
super
last
sick.
season though, with COVID, I gotta say I shot way less photos.
Yeah.
And then Snowboarder disappeared, and there was a moment where I didn't know if there was gonna be any mags in the U.S. It was pretty sketchy, but now there's like 3. So
Yeah, what are the mags right
it's
now?
in the U.S. There's Slush.
Yeah.
Which Bridge has started, which is dope, and then there's Torment, which is insane. There is Snowboard mag. It's back. Have not seen an issue yet.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing one.
Snowboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Snowboarder's Journal, which I haven't seen an issue of either.
Mm.
But yeah, so all of a sudden there's 4 mags again. So I guess
Oh, that's rad.
it's time to start shooting again.
Yeah, and you got King Snow up in Canada. You can submit
King
shit to
Snow's
them.
rad, and Method Mag in
Method
Europe,
and
yeah, there's mags.
Yeah,
Pleasure
and
is
Snowboard
still around,
Canada's
Snowboard
still
Canada.
going. Yep.
And so the only thing holding us back, I guess, is if they're Blue was just saying he was in Austria and not looking good with the COVID scene, talking about shutting borders down again, and I guess Japan shut down again.
Come on.
Yeah, so I don't know what that entails, because to me, travel international is so sick, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
otherwise, I'll just shoot around Utah or chase a storm here and there, and just juggle my time between photography and the bomb hole.
Oh, that's dope.
I was telling you we're like 2.5 weeks ahead on episodes.
2.5 months.
Or 2.5 months, yeah.
That's really good.
2.5 months.
Yeah.
And so last year we weren't, so that was actually made it harder to shoot as well.
Yeah.
So this year I'll be able to get out there.
That's really
a little
cool.
more cushion for Chris and I to kind of do our thing.
Yeah. And you guys haven't done one where you're not in it, or where he's not in it?
No.
Not yet.
We don't plan on it, I
Yeah,
guess. I don't
yeah,
know. We
no.
talked once, it was maybe going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, we'll just wait.
That's rad.
Yeah, which is really cool.
It's very cool.
Dude, doing them alone would be hard, I would think. I don't know. You're used to it.
It's just all I've ever known.
Yeah.
Really.
And all we've ever known, I guess, is both of us.
Having another person there, like I've done it with multiple guests here in Salt Lake, actually, with Drew Hicken, Rich Varga, and Jeff Davis. And
It's Noel Walkingshaw.
and it was a clusterfuck.
Oh, yeah, too many people, I imagine. I mean, yeah, it took Chris and I a little bit to get the dynamic down.
Yeah.
So you're not talking over each other.
Yeah, I'm
and
terrible at
talking
that.
over the guests. And
Terrible at it. Yeah, I still work on that.
Still, yeah, that's always something to work on when you're listening to the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it took us, we had to get there with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, being 2 months ahead, 2.5 months, we'll be able to get out and do what we need to do this season, which is rad.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's still a pro snowboarder, so
Yep.
he's got me snowboarding today, right? That's what he should be doing, which is rad. And I want some time to ride too. Yeah, so it's important we're ahead too.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this is so here I am the very first year where I'm realizing this is probably going to keep going for a while. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm thinking this is what it would look like. The majority of guests being collected on like a tour where I basically was basing it on snow. It looked like Colorado was going to be good.
But
when I
you
got there.
planned your tour around where the storms are coming.
Yeah, and George. Once I talked to George Pappas, I was like, I'm going to Boulder.
Yeah.
I'm getting this story. And then I was watching, going like, yeah, it looked legit. 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, it looked like they're going to have epic snow.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it dries up.
But that's what that snow forecast thing does.
Yeah, they
just
trick
like
you.
they just trick you with like it was so funny.
They're trying to stimulate the economy.
Hell yeah,
they got
dude.
resorts they want filled, right?
Yes.
They can't be having people think that they're not going to get any snow.
It's fun to do these trips for sure. It'd be nice to have my wife on them for some.
And
like,
your advertising covers you traveling around now.
yeah,
So that's sick.
yeah. So that's the idea. Get a little more advertising.
One of our problems was we agreed that we don't want to do any shows without the person being here live.
Yes,
Because we feel
that's
like
not a
that
problem.
really makes
That's
it more
really good.
intimate, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why you're traveling. Right?
100%, 100%. Do you fly your guests in?
Well, and that's the thing.
Actually, if you don't want to talk about this, because like flying some and convincing others to like fly here on their own dollar, like.
Well, I'll say this: when we started,
Yeah.
we had to get the people out here. We weren't really established, but now people will come, If we invite them, they're going to figure out their way out, or their sponsor.
Yeah.
Their sponsor's going to want them here.
That's better.
So they're going to find a way.
Yep. Yeah, that's cool.
So we kind of go that route.
Well, I was thinking about doing that. That was kind of the plan. Like, I looked at, you can find a little spot, you know what I mean? And having a dedicated zone was like, it appeals to my ego too. I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool to have a door people can knock on. But
the sign out front.
Yeah, the sign. I took a picture of this with me at the sign out front. I'm gonna post that today. This is fucked up. Like this is legit.
Got a sign.
Yeah, this is rad because this shows that it's completely legit. Like you can do something,
which is cool when guests come in, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, of course.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, going to Whistler, you have to go through Vancouver. If I had a spot and start talking, I think once I'm talking to more current people, that makes sense. But I do like the travel too because then I get to
That's pretty cool though how you step into their lives, check out their zone.
For a minute.
Yeah.
For a minute. It's just like I'm in your life for a minute and that's the thing is I'm a fan of who you are and I know.
And I want to be in your life for a sec.
Yeah, just for a sec.
Which is cool.
I've come out of it with a lot of friends, like a lot of people that I consider friends. Maybe they don't consider me friends. I don't know. No, it's cool. It is.
Yeah.
It has been.
I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, that started early because Ken Achenbach, I cut it out of the show because I was like embarrassed about it. He's like, hey, I didn't think I would meet a new friend today. You know what I mean? I was like, I just interviewed you. It's not, I know your story now. That's cool. Well, it doesn't mean a friendship, but he's been a great friend the whole way through.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, he said some really sweet stuff like that, He's just said really cool shit.
Really?
It's really, really nice.
Yeah,
so is Kearns. It's a bit of an ego boost to do it for sure. It's got to be fun having fans. Like today, a guy comes in here like, hey, I'm a Patreon guy and I'm flying back to Alaska. That's dope, man.
It's dope, yeah. And they stop by a bunch, which is cool.
Really? Yeah.
What's rad, too, is I go up to the resort, too, and people are yelling at me from the lift and... I got
to get that shirt with your face on it.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
That's a new item that's coming. It's actually a camo sweatshirt, and that's
sick.
Just like one of the test runs.
Yeah, well, that's the one that I picked, man. I'm into it. That's rad.
And you and I have these beards.
Yes.
They're recognizable. Where Chris is on the mountain, his like face is covered.
He's got the face mask.
Yeah, like every other rider. So I'm a little more recognizable than him. So it's pretty crazy.
See, here I am
talking to everybody,
being like kind of like shy about it. Because people do that and have for a while. Like the first time it happened at Mount Baker, I was like blown away.
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
oh
whoa.
Shit, somebody from down here recognizes my voice in the lift ticket line. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's sick.
But like I do want to talk about it because those people are the best.
Yes,
those people are amazing, and I don't want to.
If he knows your voice, he's listening to you every week.
Right. So
that's
like,
cool.
I want to thank those guys publicly. Yeah. Like, dude, you guys are the reason that I'm doing this. 100%.
And that's our whole thing with the bomb hole is like community.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. That's like why we started it.
Yeah.
Bring people together. And so everybody, I want to say what's up to all of them. And we've thrown skiers on the show. And so now even skiers say what's up to me at the resort, which is rad. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which is sick. And they're like, you guys have the best ski podcast out there. We've only done 2 episodes of skiers.
Well, that's a lack that right there, right now. You're saying like if there's some skier that has to listen to a snowboard podcast to fucking or you guys are gonna be ski, snow, skate, all the whole 9 yards. That's fun for me because then I can be like, well, I'm one of the top snowboard only podcasts. Yeah,
well, we've had some skaters, some skiers. Yeah, we're down to mix it up.
Influencers. I remember the girl. What's the girl that was? She's a snowboarder for sure, but she's like an Instagram craziness.
Oh, Jib Girl.
Yeah, I mean,
she's a sick skateboarder and snowboarder.
Yeah, she's all three.
But yeah, she's definitely on social media. She's got her game.
She's got her game
running tight. She kills it on there.
Yeah, totally. So that's like, I mean, that new media stuff. I've already said. Intern Josh has to do that shit. I don't know about that stuff.
We got our guy Rigo, and he kills it too. Yeah, and just knows the ins and outs and studies it. And
Jamie Salter, when we went through his offices, 80 people full time.
Really?
Yeah, 3 shifts. like 24 hours a day. These guys are going.
What are they
man.
doing 24 hours a day?
Bumping into each other,
Making
probably
money.
Probably getting paid not that great.
Yeah, true. Huh? he like owns Michael Jackson's estate, not estate, but the rights to his songs.
What does he got? No, he owns Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
And Shaq.
Okay.
And Marilyn Monroe.
All right.
And Bob Marley.
Damn, Marley.
Yeah, like all that shit.
He just buys up Marley.
But he also owns J.C. Penney. He owns Forever 21, Juicy Couture.
Really?
Reebok. Volcom.
Yeah, Volcom.
Volcom's come on as a sponsor for you guys now, too, hey? That's sick.
Which is rad.
You're getting that Jamie Zolder money, baby.
Didn't think of it that way. When it's cool to see brands like that start to understand what we can do, I guess, in podcasting. Right?
Hell yeah.
And I think that helps all the podcasters, I would hope.
Yes. I've been getting kits from, like,
Sick.
the West Coast Rap. Tyler Element, he's fucking awesome. Like, Volcom's got the best Gore-Tex kits.
They're killer.
Their kits are so good. And he was like, yeah, pick whatever you want.
That's sick.
And you don't even have to shout us out on the show. Like, we just want to support what you're doing. So for the first, he did that 2 years in a row. And I didn't even say thanks, really. And then I was embarrassed because I'm like, what the fuck? I should be putting these guys in the sponsors.
Yeah, right now.
Like, that's $1,000 kit, dude. That's like $1,500 worth of shit, man.
Yeah.
And so then he hooked me up with Seth. So I'm going to meet up with Seth Hewitt up here. I know he's...
Well, you're in town.
Yeah, he just did... You guys are also doing something where, like, clip of the week or something, right?
Yeah, it's like...
Bomb hole of the week.
Bomb hole of the week, because they have that zip tech, which connects your jacket and your pants. What's cool is the listeners submit them bailing.
That's perfect.
Which, Seth came up with all this, which is rad. And
good for him.
Interactive, involving...
Yeah.
And the riders pick the clip, so it involves the team rider, it involves the people listening to the show, the snowboarders. Like, it's really genius on Seth's part.
It's very genius. That's that Instagram mind. That's that influencer mind.
Yeah. Just that marketing...
Josh, get on it, man. Come on. We got to have a FNRad something. I don't know.
Yeah, and how it combines Instagram with the show. And it's cool. There's a lot of elements to it.
Yeah.
But it goes to show, like, in our space, the sky's the limit.
The sky's the limit.
And there's a lot of stuff that, let's say, the magazines can't do,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and
pivot.
And we can do that.
And long-form conversations that can go on and on and on like this.
Keep
in here all day.
On podcasts, people sit and listen forever, and it's cool.
Yeah, and people
you got a
reach out.
6-hour drive.
Yeah, people reach out and go, just got through the whatever one.
Got through.
I'm like, what? You fucking listened to that whole thing? That's amazing.
So dope.
Yeah, that's dope for sure. That's it. Well, thanks for doing the show.
Dude,
man.
hyped.
It's really fun to hang out with you and see this place. It's an inspiration for podcasting. Like, it's a pilgrimage.
Yeah, when we started, dude, I never thought we'd have an office all of a sudden.
It's a year, man.
It's
you
crazy.
guys are only at a year.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like at year 10? I'm starting to think of year 10 for me because it's coming up. This is 7,
That's
8,
nuts.
9, 2 more years after this one, and then
You're there.
It'll
be like a blink of the eye.
What I wanted to do is start putting them out on vinyl or something.
So dope.
You can only get season 10. You can only listen to it on a record.
I love that.
Or it's like $5,000 for the digital shit.
That sounds perfect.
I mean? It's free on record only.
That's something to be proud of, though, man. Making it that long. That's sick.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that I didn't think it would.
And here you are.
And now I'm here, and it's actually, and I want to say it to the listeners of the show, like, it's changed my life. They've changed my life.
That's so
People
cool.
listening to this thing has given me, like, self-confidence. The imposter syndrome's gone. Realizing that everybody struggles with, mental wellness and with feeling, like, fulfilled in their life, doing what you love. Like, this is what I love to do. Like,
That's
none
so
of this
cool.
was labored, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
It's fun.
It's like I found a new friend.
I love it, dude.
Yeah. So I sincerely love every listener of the show. Even the dudes that are posting, like, negative shit. Like, hey, I friend requested you, homie. Like, I want to be your buddy. Like, there's some things that you're thinking about me that's not true. And I'm sure that you're probably hurting over these things that are really dividing us.
Yeah.
So, like,
talk it out.
Yeah. Like,
Life's too short.
Life's too short, but, like, I think we can come to some middle ground. I think that's. I think if you're listening to a snowboard podcast, and you're literally flattering me, thinking that my platform is somewhere that you can get your message to people that'll listen, that's fucking awesome,
That's
man.
true, huh?
Like let's talk it out.
Yeah.
Let's talk it out.
That's dope.
Do you guys ever have any of that? Like any
Negative chatter?
like a little bit of hate in the feed?
So what's crazy is we've only had the tiniest amount.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
This is
Very
like 7
small.
years in. It's like one guy one time was like, Tina Bassett sucks. She was at a resort where I built a jump, and then I couldn't ride my own jump because they were shooting there.
Shooting.
Fucking bitch. And I was like, ooh.
Tina does not suck. She's the best.
Oh my God, she's the most. She's
What
the
we
most
do with the
amazing.
hate is we just kill them with kindness.
Yeah, that's the same thing
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Thank you for your feedback.
Yeah. I mean, I'm legitimately, authentically interested in this dude's situation where he would think that, Donna is the devil and that I'm trying to divide the community. Man, I want everybody to hang together.
Yeah.
I want shit to be fucking dope for
And
everybody.
you're telling these stories to help bring people together and
Absolutely.
bring the industry together, the community, the snowboarders.
Yeah, and the
people.
podcast together here.
Yeah.
This is it. Like, it's always been the way. If you listen to Joe Rogan or whatever, the difference between lack mentality and fucking podcasting is I'm not going to put you out of business. You're not going to put fucking the snowboard project out of business.
Yeah,
Nobody's in
nobody
it for
is.
anything negative.
And it's the same with brands. Like, they're not trying to put each other out of business.
No, man.
Yeah.
They're just trying to survive.
Trying
and
to
do their
survive.
thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is an easy one. I see you guys getting just bigger and bigger and bigger.
Thank you,
right?
man. I love that.
Yeah. Obviously.
It's been
man.
fun. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. It's
Yeah,
been
that's
sick.
good.
Yeah.
It's good that it's not a fucking struggle and you're not quitting every episode. Jeez. Yeah, it's been fun for me.
Yeah, it's
too.
been fun.
Yeah, and this conversation's been fun.
Dope, dude. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ethan.
I do want to hype up my print shop.
Yeah,
I just launched a snowboard print shop.
good. Yeah.
www.e-stonephoto.com.
Fuck yeah.
Get some art on those walls, people.
Yeah, man. Dano's slanging art hard,
Sick.
man. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
his
been inspired
prints.
by people like him.
Good. Yes, Sean Sullivan is
Yep.
another one. John Foster, Bud Fawcett. Like,
It's sick to see everyone starting to.
yeah, I hope those guys are selling their photos. They should be.
I feel like snowboarding's just matured a bit, and
Yeah.
now there's people our age that have houses.
Yeah.
And we want to put snowboarding on our walls. Is what I think.
100%,
I don't know,
dude.
Yeah.
Those are one of those things. Like, my wife bought me one. Like, that's a really sneaky
Yeah,
good gift.
it's
If you're
cool.
if you're a woman listener and you got a fucking husband that's also a fan, get on that website and
Yeah.
get your shit by. Say it again one more time.
It's e-stonephoto.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just launched it like 3 days ago, which is
good.
dope. Yeah.
You getting some orders? I'll buy
Yes.
some while I'm here, man.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
going
that's
good.
dope. Good. Awesome, man. Fuck, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right.
Peace, dog.
FNRad shoutouts this week to E-Stone and the Bombhole Podcast entire staff. Thanks for hosting me at your space. That was a lot of fun. Remember to go to estonephoto.com and spice up your space with a print to support a rad snowboard photographer. Special thanks to Artie from the Boardroom for keeping me on my toes at the Baked Salmon 5 this year. Try as I may, I could not beat Artie. He beat me by a healthy margin, cracking the top 10 and putting down a very respectable time. This, his very first time in Masters as an old man. Congratulations, Artie. That was rad. I'm off to Tahoe for the Retro Worlds next weekend. Super stoked. Be sure to come back next week for another episode of the FNRad Snowboard Podcast, presented by Vans and brought to you by SIA Productions.